So hi guys, welcome to this week's video. Now it's not the usual video modelling on a budget as much. I've been having a little bit of a problem with the modelling in the budget series, but I found something that I think is quite not out of place on the Saturday evening slot. So I was watching a video yesterday. I was actually watching a live stream by a chappie called World of Mike, and he was doing his Eddie Stobart, and he was having a few struggles, but he gave a link for one of his other channels, Crafting with Mike. I'll link to his channel, his main World of Mike channel, and then watch a few of his videos, and then hopefully we'll get this isn't a criticism, but he doesn't advertise his other channels in the same way that he advertises World of Mike, but basically it's a spin-off of his main channel, where because he does so much on one channel, he's decided to split it and make things a little bit more appropriate. Anyway, I divulge. There's one video in particular that I was watching. Now the subject matter is really not going along with what my channel is about, but what he was actually doing does. Now that sounds a little bit vague, but all will be revealed. However, having said that, there's a lot of people that's been building the Harchettes build a doll's house, which big question mark over the subject matter, oh, doll's house, big grown men building doll's house, but actually it's an extremely good part work, so I'm told. This is pretty much the same thing. So anyway, I went down to the works to see if they had the same thing or something similar. They didn't have the same thing, but they have had something similar, and you know me, I bought a few little things, so I thought I would show you what I've got. So the first thing I bought, and this is the whole reason for me going down, now do not scoff, please bear with me. I bought this. This is the Disney Princess Rapunzel paint your own figure. Now they had a few little things down there, and I chose this one because I quite like the idea of doing blonde hair again, and also it's got purple dress on, so why not? So what this is quite a basic little figure, and it gives you the pots of paints, and it looks pretty good. Now it's obviously, like you see, it's 3+, so it's designed to give to, primarily designed to give to your child, and off they go and they get painting. And I guess it's got poster paints in, which are washable. It has a little colour mix, which, for us painters who have done a little bit of painting, we don't need this. But although, to be honest with you, the red and the green helps. But then the red and the green isn't the primary colour, is it? So it's basically a mix of 3 colours. So what this essentially is a little figure which you paint, and it comes with the paints and the brushes. Now, before I begin, I do apologise. I've opened all of the packages. The reason I've opened all the packages is I've checked the contents before I show you. It's nothing worse than going, oh look what I've got, open up and it's broken. So with this, you get a figure, you get some paints, and you get a little brush. Now from a product point of view, from a parent point of view, that it makes an absolutely wonderful present for a young child. But because I'm a little bit beyond a basic modeler, I am going to try and take this further, and this is the whole reason why I went to have a look at them. I noticed he was painting them, and I thought, do you know what, with a little bit more control, maybe I can perhaps put flesh tones in, a little bit of shading, a little bit of highlighting, and I'm just sort of wondering how much of a result I can get with this. probably won't use these paints, but I might use my AK Interactives or my Humbrolls or whatever I've got, and then we'll see what we can do with that. If we can get a better job than this, which that is a good job. You can see they've actually done the highlighting on the dress themselves, so that's kind of the way I was thinking. So it's a pretty solid thing. I bet if I dropped this from a moderate height, it'd probably survive. It's not hollow, it doesn't feel hollow. As you can see, they've given us 3 primary colours, a white and a black. As you know, Disney, they're all about the bright colours, so this will give us 6 colours. We can get green out of that, we get orange, and we can get, is it purple, by mixing the colours. We can also get brown. We've got the white and the black. We can take the shading, we can make the colours lighter, we can make the colours darker, and obviously by mixing, if we mix 50-50, we get a basic secondary colour, but if we add like a little touch of yellow to the red, we get a slightly lighter red. And you know, with enough care and attention, we can get just about any colour we want from these 5. Paintbrush I do not rate at all. However, I do buy these, not these ones. I actually buy these from Poundland, because they make absolutely wonderful mixing brushes for when I'm doing airbrushing. And the reason I buy these horrible nylon brushes, the paint doesn't stick to them, which means they're absolutely no good for painting, but absolutely fantastic for cleaning. So I might do some mixing, then I'll quick swish of the brush in water, and they're clean. And this is pretty much the same thing. So I'll be honest with you, I will not be using this brush. So that presents me with 2 issues. One is these paints. I haven't looked at this, but I know exactly how they're going to go. There we go. So we've got thick gloopy paint in there, and what I'm going to have to do is thin them, and I'll also might need to mix them. So I don't normally do this when I have paint. If I'm mixing and thinning paints, I always collect my milk bottle caps, and any suitable caps, and I'll use these to mix caps. I don't normally bother with palettes, because what will happen is I'll forget to clean the palette, the paint will dry on it, and it just takes too much effort to clean, and I end up throwing the palettes out. So what I do is I probably get through one of these every 2 days, and all I have to do is put a notice up at work: please can I keep your milk bottle caps? I'll probably have 100 in a couple of weeks. So with these I can just put a bit of paint in and then throw it away at the end. But I thought, if I'm going to be using this, I'm going to be mixing the colours. Remember how my mind works. I have a plan, and I try to activate that plan, and I change my mind on things. So you know, at the time I was planning on using these, which means I need 6 sections for that, and a white and a black, and then I need another section for any colours that I'm making. So I bought these palettes. Now I do not know why I bought 2. I think I was doing a comparison. There was a pack with some knives, some little palette knives and some palettes, and then there was just a straight palette. So I ended up, I think, I picked too many up and I was comparing them. But 2's fine. So this has 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 sections, plus 1 in the middle. So I can put a dab of my primary colours in the middle, and then I can mix them. Very, very handy if you're using different colours. And these were £1 each. Well, I'm not sure. I picked one up and it said £1.50, and I picked another one up for £1.50, so I really don't know. So the next thing obviously is, because this brush is absolutely, I think the most polite word I can use to describe this brush is naff. I think if you're over the age of 3, this brush is no good to you. So I picked up, and I'll show you the packaging. I was very, very impressed with this I didn't want to use my own brushes that I've already got, and you'll see my collection of brushes in a moment. But I found this little pack of brushes. Let me get them out. You get 5 brushes, and as you can see, they're £2. And I thought these are probably not the best brushes in the world. Certainly not for £2. My own favourite brushes, I don't pay that for one brush. I pay more like a £5. But what impressed me about these is, first of all, Daler Rowney. Now, I'm not an expert on companies, but Daler Rowney make artist products. They make fairly decent artist products. Now, it does say Simply Value, so they are cheaper. They weren't. I don't expect them to be as well made as their usual brushes, but they are Daler Rowney, and I believe these are synthetic brushes, synthetic hairs, which they are. They're very, very nice. Now, what I liked about these. This brush is they call it a script brush. I'm not really bothered by this brush. This is just a normal painting brush. Now this brush I liked. I do like a brush with a longer tip, and that's very handy. It's actually called a liner brush. And if I wanted, for example, if I want to make this look quite cartoony and just go around black around the edges, you see how I can get that in there quite nice. It needs a wash. They always give them this protective coating when you first buy them, so they're not as good. There you go. That's what it's going to look like when it's got something on it. So you can actually use this and go in there. See, I'm using the tip of the brush, and I can just get into the nooks and crannies, and I can just line that black. And the next thing I liked was these flat brushes. So these flat brushes are very good for painting larger areas. Again, this isn't a criticism of World of Mike. I noticed he used a larger brush, and he used that large brush for everything. And I don't believe that's the best. Certainly not for me. It's not the best way to go. So when you're doing smaller detail, perhaps use this. Well, maybe this brush. So we can do this area with that brush. When we come to doing the face, maybe we'll use that larger brush. Can you see how we can get more done per stroke? And then when we got smaller detail, again we can still use the but to be honest with you, I've not put any paint on these. I've just done this little dry brushing with it. Not dry brushing as in that, but you know, painting with no paint, and they seem quite nice. But actually, as I've mentioned, dry brushing, you know, these are, we always say when we use dry brushes, use cheap, nasty, used up brushes. These might actually make good dry brushes because they're nice and flat, and I can just see us going like that with it. So nice little set of brushes for £2. I think I might be getting more of these in my arsenal. You know, maybe use them for decals, but you know, they won't replace my brushes I've got. These are my brushes that I normally use, and these are Kolinsky Sable, and these are my absolute favourite brushes. But I really don't want to ruin them on something that may, you know, this may potentially spoil them. So I'll stick with my my aircraft paints. But yeah, so I really was impressed with these brushes for the price. So the next thing I got, it's more of a personal need than anything else. I have a wonderful little storage container, a little work area. I'll put a picture of it now. Now that comes from EMBA Hobbies, and it is absolutely fantastic. But because of the position of my desk, I've tried to keep as much stuff off my desk as I can to try and keep it tidy. But to be honest with you, as a brush storage, it doesn't work for me. It's not a useless brush storage area. It's just that where I have it, let me go over to my front camera. Does it come up? There we go. So the workstation's actually there, and I've got all these brushes chucked in the top. Now, I did put this little separator in. It comes with it, but because the holes don't line up with the dividers, it doesn't really sit too well. And so it's not a criticism of EMBA. It's just that when you store your brushes up there, you can see the difference, especially with having a camera. It doesn't really work. So I bought this, and this was £3.50. Now this is a brush holder. I've always tried to avoid buying one because it's going to have to sit on the desk and take up space. But as you can see, it's absolutely perfect for the job. And it's 4 pieces of plastic. You've got 2 circles, you've got 3 supports, and it's just absolutely perfect. And as you can see, I've separated my brushes by type. So I've got my acrylic painting brushes there, I've got my base painting brushes there, I've got my wash brushes there, I've got my dry brushes, I've got my oil brushes, and these did come from here. So they will live, trying to figure out the sizes of these. That's a size 6, that's a size 4, so in they'll go that way, and then I can put these 2 there. And so I've got everything on my desk. So let's go for a quick overview. So you can see I've got, unfortunately the light is in the way of the camera. So there's my brush holder there, and now that can live maybe in the corner of the desk, and then my brushes are to hand. Now that cost, let me just check the box. So I've got, obviously I bought chocolate as well. So this is what I actually bought, and you can see the price, £3.50. It's not the highest quality plastic I've ever seen, and I've seen this for a lot more expensive, but to be honest with you, I'm not going to be bashing it about. It's perfectly good enough. So holds up to 49 brushes. It's going to hold less brushes if you're going to separate them by types of brushes. So for £3.50 I thought that was very, very good. So the last thing that I bought, sometimes I have a little bit of trouble organising things. Let me just switch to the overhead. You can see I've got lots of different things on the desk. I've got my towel down here, I've got some paint, like you see I've just put these paints there. So I've got these little trays, and then I've got these that I've been using for one project, these I've been using for another. That screwdriver shirt should go in the screwdriver pot in the drawer. But like, different things for different projects. So for £3 I found these, and what this is just a very simple set of trays for organising. I forget what they actually called them, but it's something like mixing trays, something trays. 3 for £3, and I guess these are designed for the kids painting. You know, if you were to put your model in there and your paints in there, and then what's going to happen, being children, let me see if I can get my brush. They're gonna paint, and then they're gonna throw their brush down, and you can see that all of the paint is going to go inside there. And with the right chemicals, you can take all of that out. You can clean that out, and it's ready to go. And instead of getting paint all over your top, you get paint in there. But the way I'm looking at it is, maybe instead of using this for painting, I can actually use it for the project in hand. So maybe this could be set up for the last project there, and then this next project that I've got my glue, and then that can just sit. Let me go to the overhead view. So you see that I've got my so there's my brushes over there, and then my little tray full of bits and bobs can go there. My parts can go along there. This is my work area there. I do apologise about that lamp. So there we go. So, and then if I want to, maybe I want to film a scale model, so that goes there. As soon as I finish the scale model, maybe I want to film the Eddie Stobart. So right, that all goes away. In comes the next tray. So there you go. I've got those, and that's in there. And then I take that out, and then I'm ready to film the next thing. And these actually, you can't necessarily see this. So you see my hobby drawers, my hobby desk, it has these gaps underneath when I've been putting these little baskets in. Now I can't fit one basket, one tray, but from a storage point of view, these do go quite nicely under there, so they store well. For me personally, they store well as well also. So I'm going to have to organise a little drawer, and then there's my little drawer, so you see plenty of space there. I might buy a few more of them. So there's the front view camera. So yeah, that's what I've been spending my money on today. This is the trouble, I try not to spend money and then payday happens, and I just can't help myself. So big thank you to World of Mike. I do really appreciate him sharing his projects on screen, and it has inspired me. So just goes to show that even if you are you know, these big YouTubers, and these I consider myself a moderately sized channel. I'm pushing 750 subs. I'm not going to call myself a large channel, but it's still always worth watching the smaller channels, see what they're up to. Is there anything you can actually do on your channel that, you know, you can bring to their channel? Sorry, dry mouth. Yeah, always worthwhile looking at other channels, and as I say, just because they're a smaller channel doesn't mean they're any worse than you. So a little bit of an update for you. I have been ordering some scale models. There's a big scam going around. I might have to just edit that last bit out. So there's an eBay scam going around. You know, you try to buy your partner some fancy clothes, maybe some aftershave or perfume, maybe some nice shoes, maybe book a ticket for a concert, and instead of sending them, they send you scale models. I mean, how awful. But seriously guys, I use a company called MJR Hobbies. They do discounted models. As with all companies, whoever you think is cheapest, you might find somebody cheaper out there. But I find that they're a really nice price. This is not a sponsored video, by the way. But the reason, the draw for me, is I can place an order with them. They do a small credit facility where you can buy something from them and you can pay them back as long as you pay them within 2 months. And I said I don't really want to do that because problems do happen, even the best planned people, and I do plan my finances very well. I just need the money to plan. That's always my letdown. But things do happen, so what I like to do is I like to make an order, and then I like to pay them every week so much money, and then when I've got enough money saved, they send me the items. And I have, well, what's actually happened is that I have ordered, sorry, I have to bring the list up because I've ordered so much. So I've ordered, I had ordered the B17 F, which I was going to convert to the Spotted Cow assembly ship. So thank you very much to Paul J. Lewis and P40F20 who gave me some advice on the kit. And instead of buying the Hong Kong models version, which apparently is too fat, I'm gonna level up with you guys. I'm gonna buy that Hong Kong models kit one day. I'm probably not going to do it on camera. It's going to be one of my little personal projects, but I kind of fancy, I know it's expensive, but I want to actually build it now just to see for myself what the faults are. I just find that interesting. But anyway, the advice they gave me was rather than buy the Hong Kong models B17F, to buy the Revel B17F and the Monogram B17G. Now, why are you buying an F and a G? So what I'm told is the Revel B17F is a very good model, but it has very poor interior detail, whereas the Monogram at B17G has extremely good interior. However, it's a G version, not an F. and the G version has an extra turret on the nose. So what I'm going to probably do, more than likely going to do, is I'm going to take the interior from the monogram kit, put it into the Revel. I may not, but it gives me an option. I think I will end up building two B17s, one F and one G, but I definitely want to do that spotted cow version. Now, for reference for you, for those that didn't know, that if you ever want to do the Memphis Belle, that's a B17F, and that is actually the Revel kit I'm going to buy. So obviously one of the issues I've got is if you look inside through the windows, the detail's not there. But then again, are you actually going to be looking inside? Is there much to see? So this is why it's only an option, not I am definitely doing it. I've also bought, obviously, the B17 Decal Set, so that I can make the spotted cow. Whether I use all of the decals, I don't know. It might just be easier if I make a little circle template and then just spray all the circles on rather than applying details. Now, the B17s are considerably cheaper than the Hong Kong models. I've actually had to buy the monogram one from a company in Czechoslovakia, and it's currently on its way. It has been coming for a week, and I don't know how long it takes to get from Czechoslovakia in this current age, but it's been about a week, so maybe another week, we shall see. Now, because the B17 from Revel is considerably cheaper, and I'm not absolutely desperate to get the kits, I've kind of added some some things on. So what I've got is I've got two pots of metal colour. Now, where is my metal colour? Some of you may know my favourite metallic paints, and this is an absolute mess, but it just proves I use it. These are a Vallejo metal colour, and I think they're, I'm going to say they're the best acrylic metallic colours out there. I tend to use acrylics because they're easier to clean up. As you see, I do make a mess, but I just call that a well-used pot of paint. I think they're absolutely wonderful. They airbrush really well, and they actually go on with the paintbrush really well, and the actual colour is fantastic. My personal opinion. So I have bought two colours. I bought the white aluminium. I've bought the copper, and I've got a couple of projects for them. But yeah, they will. But I hope to eventually get the full set. I've also bought the OV-10 Bronco. It's a little light attack aircraft, and it's just kind of fun. And I don't know if I bought the kit because I wanted that kit, or if I wanted to buy a kit from the manufacturer, which is ICM. And I've been told ICM are very, very good kits. Now by coincidence, I've got lots of kits in my stash from various manufacturers, but by coincidence, my first two projects, the first project I did offline, the two current projects I'm doing online, and another project that I'm doing for fun, which you're not going to see, they're all Tamiya kits. And Tamiya are well known for, how do we describe them? Shake and bake. You just put them together, they go together really well. And as first kits, I've kind of spoilt myself. So I want to see different manufacturers. I'm looking forward to doing the monogram. I'm looking forward to doing the Revel. I am actually doing a Tagliari kit, and it's really pushed my skills in other areas quite to the limit actually. And I'm you think, oh, glue this on, and you're like, oh, it's not simple as that, and it might take you 2 or 3 hours just to get through one stage. Fit issues, having to sand the seam lines down, join lines. You get spoilt with Tamiya, and it really shows when you do other kits. So I don't know if I did the Bronco because it's a lovely aircraft. It's a US Navy aircraft. Well, one of the versions are. It's a US Navy. It's a lovely little aircraft. I read up a little bit about it, and I love some of the features about it. So did I do it because it's a lovely kit, or did I do it because it's an ICM kit? Oh, I don't really know. But that's nice. Another model I've bought is the Hobby Boss A6E Tram, TRAM. It's more of a reconnaissance electronic. No, so I think it's more of a reconnaissance version of the aircraft. And I just love the Intruder. The A6 Intruder is one of the aircraft that helped really get me between the F-14 and the A6. That really pushed my love of US Navy aircraft. I remember watching the film Flight of the Intruder, and I love the fact that the Intruder has lots and lots of offensive weapons. You know, it can take out a small village no problem and completely level it, but it has absolutely no way to defend itself, and I find that quite interesting. It's like it can go on the ground attack, but it's no good in air-to-air combat, which is why you have the F-14. The F-14 is no good at ground attack. It is there purely to protect the other aircraft. And I think that was my first venture as a very small child in learning how these aircraft on an aircraft carrier, they all work together. The Intruder can't do its job without the F-14. Without the Intruder, the F-14 wouldn't have a job. And I think that's a good little lesson for life. You know, you do your job, somebody else does their job. And I say it's how it got me into, part of the reason why it got me into US aircraft. So yeah, and I've got absolutely no idea how to describe it, but I will do an unboxing when it arrives. I bought a little workbench thing. It's basically, it's like a vice, a little bench vice. Everybody knows what a bench vice looks like, but this one's a little bit different. And what it is it's a circle that's been cut in half, and the circle's got lots of little holes pushed into it, drilled into it. And you can put pegs in, and it's the mechanism for opening and closing. It's a little dial, so you can open it or you can close it, and you can put the pegs on the outside of an object, and then on the outside of the object, and you can grip the object by pushing it inwards. Or, for example, if you're perhaps polishing a wedding ring, you can put the pegs on the inside of the object and pull it out, which enables you to work outside. It's a little bit flash for me. That's partly the reason why I bought it, but it just means that between having a bench vise, which I can screw onto the table, or this little, I think it's just called a workstation, but between the two of those, it gives me a lot more options. And I looked at it, and there's been only one or two situations where that would have been absolutely perfect, and I've managed without it, but I thought the price was quite good. I'm reading the wrong column because I know for a fact it did not cost £3. Cost about £16, which I thought was a good little price. So those items, all of those items apart from the monogram B17 is going to be dispatched on Tuesday, which generally speaking means I'll receive it round about Friday, which is a bit of a problem because I'm off work on Friday. Also a bit of an update on the work situation, as those of you that know me will know that I'm currently in a situation with my work where my shifts are quite long, quite awkward, and I'm just really not enjoying my job. And it's not the job the job I applied for. They said to me, yeah, join the company, we'll find you some work. The position isn't actually coming up until March, and excuse me, once the position comes up, you'll then go on to it. Well, the position came and went, and I haven't been put on with it, and it's basically been a lot of communication breakdowns, and cut a long story short, I'm not doing the job that I originally applied for, and I'm not sure if I'm going to be job hunting, or if it's going to sort itself out. It looks like it's going to sort itself out. So when I do get that job, it means that some weeks I'm going to have it's all done on average hours, so I'll get paid the same amount every week, but some weeks I may work 60 hours, and then other weeks I might work 20 hours, so I might only work one day and have 5 days off, and then it'll all average out at about 40 or 50 hours a week, which is about 4 to 5 days work a week. And so some weeks I won't be able to go live because I'll be working so much, and then other weeks I'll have a lot of free time, and I've got to make the videos and get them all made in advance, so that when I'm working maybe every 8 weeks I'll have no time at all to make videos, but I've already made them the week before. Once I'll be on a rolling rota, so I'll know what I'm doing from one week to the next. So maybe I can make plans to do some live videos. The lives won't be on the same day every week. So it might, for example, it might be 8 different every 8-week show or something like that. And the first show might be on a Monday, and then the next show the following week will be on a Wednesday, and then the show after that the following week might be on a Tuesday, and then there'll be a show on a Sunday, and then there might be a show on a Tuesday. But you know, it'll be like an 8-week rota, so I'll every 8 Mondays off, and then I'll have every 8 Tuesday. I mean, obviously get more days off than that. So I'll be knowing at some point in the near future what I'm going to do. I have learnt to not count my chickens before they're hatched, so I can only say what is officially happening, but it looks like it's happening. It's just a case of when. Having said that, this may get changed, but I am on holiday at the end of August / beginning of September. I don't want to say exactly what's happening in case plans change, but the plan at the moment is that I'm having a friend come up for 2 weeks. I live in Scotland, and contrary to popular belief, Scotland is an absolutely beautiful area, absolutely wonderful, and I've been here over a year, and there's a lot of things on my doorstep that I've not seen, and I've also said to my friend, come up to Scotland and see what it's got to offer. I did a very, very short-sighted offer back in November. I said, oh, come up for a week, and it was a bit of a daft thing to do, really, because what do you do for a week in a wet and miserable Glasgow when there's only about 6 hours of daylight? So I feel quite bad, and I said to him, come up in the summertime. And then, you know, at the moment it's getting light about 5 in the morning. It's getting dark about 9 p.m. In fact, it's 8 o'clock at the time of filming this, and you know, if you look out my window, you'd think it's the middle of the day. It seems to go dark much later than where I was in England. I don't know if that's maybe I'm slightly higher up in the country, or if it's just how it's gone in the world these days. But yeah, so some nice things happening in the next month, but this is modelling on a budget. So yeah, so rather than do the Spitfire this month, I was meant to be released last week, but I wasn't able to get the video together. So yeah, so the primary thing about this show is this Disney princess, and like I say, don't knock it. It's £5, which is cheaper than a model. There's a lot less to do. I did notice that there's some seam lines and there's a few little chunks taken out of it, whether that's just a molding issue or something, but you know, it gives you the option to take it as far or as little as you want. You know, we can perhaps put a bit of sandpaper on that and sort those mold lines out. Might pop a little bit of filler in there in the little holes where there's like maybe a miscast, but then I can get on with painting it, and you know, I can just slap a colour on and it's done, or I can perhaps do some shading and some highlighting, and I can take it as far as I want. The only issue I have with it are those damn great big eyes. I got a thing about Disney eyes. Disney characters, they have these massive eyes. Can you see the size of those eyes? That outside, that line, that's actually the white in the eyes, and the circle in the middle is the actual green and black bit. But all Disney characters have these massive eyes, and I don't know, is that creepy? These big eyes staring at you? I don't know, but yeah, it could be fun to paint. It's got some really nice raised lines, so any detail is really easy to paint. And yeah, I've got somebody in mind that maybe would appreciate that when it's painted. And what we'll do, leave a comment, guys. Should I do 2 of them and do one as a 3+ aged person, as it suggests, and then do one, see how far I can take it? Do you think that would be nice? Maybe do a comparison, or should I just do the one? Maybe you guys think it's a bit naff. Who knows, I might think it's a bit naff. I thought doing an Airfix Spitfire starter kit would be a lot of fun, but it wasn't as much fun as I thought it would be. Right guys, so I'm going to finish the video there, so thank you very much for watching as always. Have I really been talking that long? Oh my god, I really do, don't I? Coming up next week, we've got tomorrow we've got the video on making my own thinners and cleaners. You know, in this current world things are extremely expensive, and obviously the more money you spend on food, fuel, bills, the less money you've got to hobby with. So yeah, I think it's a good little way to stretch your money. We've got another episode of the fire truck coming, and sadly, no, not sadly, Wednesday we're back to normal Eddie Stobart. I thought I was going to have a problem with my Eddie Stobart because I hadn't paid the bill. I didn't realise I hadn't paid it, so obviously they were going to stop sending issues out. I managed to get it sorted out, funnily, yesterday, which is actually today, because I'm filming this on the Friday for the Saturday, just to confuse you all. And I said, oh, well, when's the dispatch date? They said, oh, it's actually tonight, so I should be getting those on time. I am, as you know, once I get the issues, it kind of catches me up to one issue. So this coming week and next week is the last 2 videos where I do 2 issues in one video, which is such a shame, because I think issue 39 is nothing to do in it. I think it's just a wheel, so it's very slow. But I'm very, very happy to announce Friday is my first video on the Mosquito. Last night the F14 had stage 9. As you know, I've slipped that down to fortnightly. The idea of doing it fortnightly has worked. I've got so much more excitement for the F14, and I'm just beginning to get myself back on track. But also doing the Mosquito, it's filled me full of joy. I am overflowing with hobby mojo as a result, and I really cannot wait for that video to come out. I'm really, really looking forward to it. Although I think I start building in stage issue 2. Anyway, right guys, so thank you very much for watching as always, and I hope to catch you in another video. Take care, bye bye.